Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your Accuplacer test prep course. I'm Mark Morabito. I'll be leading you through this with Mr. Chaz Alberts, and we look forward to working with you, helping you strengthen your fundamentals in mathematics, and also help you pass the Accuplacer. So without further ado, let me tell you a little bit about the Accuplacer. So the Accuplacer test that you'll be taking is only 12 questions. I think that's a little ridiculous. That's very few questions if you think about it. Your test is computer-based. That means that there will be, on the monitor screen you'll see each question, and you can write your scrapwork on a white piece of paper, and then you'll click the correct answer. There will be 4 answer choices, and every single question is multiple choice. The test is adaptive, and what that means is if you get the first and second question right, let's say, then the third question will be even more challenging, and so on and so forth. If you get the first question wrong, perhaps the second question will be a little bit less challenging, and so on and so forth throughout your 12 questions on the test. So it is very, very important to get the early questions correct, as well as the more complicated questions. You need to get those correct as well. There is a calculator built in to the actual Accuplacer test that's on your computer screen, but it's not the best calculator. It's kind of like a Windows calculator. If you went under Start, Accessories, if you have a Windows machine, and looked at that calculator, it's not the greatest thing ever. Only on certain questions will the calculator be provided, so we recommend between now and the Accuplacer you never use a calculator for anything. Become a human calculator, because, don't forget, every time you use a calculator, it doesn't get better. But every time you actually experience the calculations, you'll become more fluent in calculating. Okay? And this will all translate and help you out to the further classes that you'll take while at Framingham State. When you're taking the actual Accuplacer, be sure to take your time. Remember, you only have 12 questions, and they really each count for a lot. One thing that's interesting as well is you could get 5 questions right, or you could get 9. You could get 5 questions right, and you could pass the Accuplacer, even though a 5 out of 12 would be failing. That kind of shows that each problem is weighted. Or you could get 7 or 8 or 9 out of 12 questions right, and maybe not pass the Accuplacer. So not every question is created equally. Some are weighted more than others. So take your time and check every answer. Make sure you get things right. Especially the beginning questions seem to count for more, but really give extra energy and effort and care to every single question. So it really matters which questions you get right. It's hard to know which questions are going to be weighted more than others, and it does seem, it's kind of weird and random. So just focus on getting every single question right. Chaz and I both took the Accuplacer 4 times. And we did get our scores and everything. So it's interesting to see how it weights certain problems more. But it's hard to tell what's weighted more. Don't psych yourself out if you think you get the first question wrong. Just approach every problem with your best effort. And again, this is a multiple choice test. They will give you 4 answers, and the correct answer is one of those 4 answers, but you have to be careful. Just because the answer that you got is one of the 4 answer choices doesn't mean that it's the correct answer. So you have to make sure that you check. Because these people are very crafty when they craft these problems, just like Mr. Alberts and I were when we made our problems here. We have a lot of good, appealing wrong answers. So you really have to pay attention to details and check your answer before you select it. So really be careful and just like self-monitor so that you're being deliberate, you're taking your time, and you're getting your best score. So to help you prepare for the Accuplacer, we'll tell you a little bit about your online class. Your online class is 6 sections. This is unit number 0. We don't actually count that. The first unit is evaluating, followed by all of the rest. We purposely put them in a logical order so that each unit relies on previous skills, so everything just kind of builds. The evaluating unit is quite long. Most of the units are not. I think every other unit is by far way shorter than the first unit. So I recommend you only watch the first 27 minutes of the evaluating video and then take a break and then circle back and finish up the rest of that unit. Make sure you do every unit in order. In addition, you're going to take the pretest first before you watch the video lesson. When you're watching the video lesson, be sure to either print, I would recommend you print the note sheet. It's a PDF that goes right along with the video lesson. And be sure to pause, rewind, and replay the video as necessary. If there's something you don't understand, be sure that you give it the necessary time and effort. Now what's cool is when you're taking notes, unlike in class, you can actually pause us. You can rewind us and listen to us again if something didn't make sense or maybe you missed something. So take the time to truly understand everything, and it will be worth its weight in gold. Literally. I'll tell you about that later. So when you're watching the video, you'll have your note sheet. You'll write along as you watch. You can pause, you can rewind, you can replay. Really make sure you have everything down in the video. Then there's some practice. Do the practice. At the bottom is an answer key. Check your answers. If you get something wrong, don't skip it. Learn why you got it wrong. Practice getting it right. Repetition is key. And if you need to, circle back to the video lesson. Maybe you want some more practice. What you can do is you can pause the video at an example, do the example, and then fast forward, check and see if you got it right. If you didn't get it right, bring it back to the beginning of the problem, listen to Mr. Alberts or myself talk to you about it, and then understand your mistake, then bring it back and redo it. Math is just like anything. You have to practice. You know, a famous pitcher didn't learn how to throw a curveball by watching someone else on the mound or just throwing it once. You have to have repetition. You have to throw hundreds of thousands of pitches before you're really, really ready. So make sure you practice, practice, and repeat. Last but not least, you'll take the post-test. Treat it just like an AccuPlacer. It'll be computer-based. Use white paper, write down your work, get the correct answer, check it, and then select it. So this will be a good way to kind of show you as you go how ready are you for the AccuPlacer. So here we have a list of important questions. First, you might wonder what score is passing. Well, I said it's possible for a 5 out of 12 to pass and an 8 out of 12 to not pass. Well, since they weigh questions differently, it's hard to say how many questions you need to get right. However, you need to get a score of a 70 to pass. What does it mean if you pass? If you pass the AccuPlacer, that means you can place into credit-bearing math classes at Framingham State. That means you can start to take the requirements for your major and your track here. What happens if you fail? If you fail, you have to spend some money and pay for a remediation course. That'll be a semester-long math course to try and fill in the gaps in your knowledge. So you'll spend approximately 3 hours a week for about 16 weeks. That'll be an entire semester, so that's 48 hours in class, 16 classes roughly, maybe 32 classes depending on how your schedule is set up. And this is a rough estimate. But so you'll be spending all that time and then you'll have to do work outside of class. However, you'll also be spending money. Like I said, approximately maybe $1,000 or $2,000 for a course, but you won't even get credit for the course. Remember, this is remediation. This is before you take college-level math so that you can go on your path to your major. So we're really hoping to help strengthen your skills so that you can go along your merry way at Framingham State and not have to go into remediation. So really, think about the time, the hours, and the effort that you spend on this as time, hours, and effort that you will not have to spend on remediation. So that way when you get ready in September and get going, you'll be on the path that you want to be on. How should you study this material? Well, like I said, pause, rewind, and replay videos. That is a great way to basically have Chaz or I be a personal tutor for you when you need it. Make sure you understand things. Every unit builds upon previous units, so really make sure you have the material down. Take the practice seriously. Don't peek at the key. If there's a problem you can't do, understand how to do it, look at the key, learn from it, and then redo that problem 5 times. Redo it 2 times that day, 3 times the next day, and 3 times the day after that, so that you know you have it. You know, you have to practice. It's all about repetition and iteration. Where else can you go for extra practice? Well, there is a good website called Khan Academy, khanacademy.org. Check out Khan Academy. At the top, there's a place for you to search, and you can search by subject. So if you search any of the topics on the units that we're going over, or any of the subtopics, you'll be able to find some practice. And you can watch extra videos. You can do some practice and try and get a badge, try and get 5 in a row. That way you really know that you've got it down. And then you can, focus on the next skill that you might need extra help on. So use our materials, but also don't be afraid to use khanacademy.org. So I'd like to leave you with this quote by Colin Powell. And he said, "There are no secrets to success. It is a result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure." It's really important for you to take your time on this material, make mistakes, and learn from them. Remember, the material that we've crafted is specifically to help prepare you for this test. So you need to make sure that you master the material, and then you won't have to go into remediation. So that's the ultimate goal. Save yourself a semester of math that you have to pay for, that you won't get credit for, and instead be able to go on your way in September at Framingham State to become what you want to be. All right? So good luck, and we look forward to working with you in the units to come. After this intro, you should head to Unit 1 and try the pre-test before you watch the unit video. Good luck, and thank you.